Japan and China, Asia's giants, are locked in a tense standoff, military buildups, warships in contested waters, and fighter jets crowding the skies. The region's fragile peace is under threat as China's military modernization and assertive moves, especially around Taiwan, have forced Japan to rethink its pacifist stance. Japan is now fortifying its southwestern islands and deepening its alliance with the United States, preparing for scenarios once thought unimaginable. The world watches anxiously, knowing that a clash here would have global consequences. Understanding this path to potential war means examining the flashpoints, new policies, and military preparations now reshaping East Asia. Taiwan is the epicenter of Japan-China tensions. China's push for reunification, now a top priority for Xi Jinping, has turned Taiwan into a military flashpoint, with near-daily PLA incursions and invasion drills. For Japan, Taiwan's fate is existential. Its sea lanes, economy, and even territory are at risk if China seizes the island. The Ryukyu Islands, closer to Taiwan than Tokyo, would be on the front line, making any Taiwan crisis a direct threat to Japan. Tokyo now sees Taiwan's security as a core national interest, forcing a historic shift in its defense posture. The destinies of Taiwan and Japan are now dangerously intertwined. Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi's rise in 2025 marked a turning point for Japan's defense policy. Her Takaichi doctrine ends decades of ambiguity, declaring Japan will act if a Chinese attack on Taiwan threatens its survival. This doctrine, built on new legal powers for collective self-defense, sets clear red lines. A blockade or assault on Taiwan could trigger Japanese military involvement. Japan is acquiring long-range missiles and developing hypersonic weapons, transforming from a pacifist nation to a proactive security partner. The U.S. Japan alliance is now stronger, but Japan's new stance also makes it a likely target in any conflict. Takaichi's gamble. That clear deterrence will prevent war. The world waits to see if this bold approach preserves peace or hastens conflict. If China moves on Taiwan, the assault would begin with a massive missile barrage, hundreds of precision-guided missiles raining down on key military targets, radar sites, and airfields across the island. The goal would be to cripple Taiwan's defenses in the opening hours, paralyzing its ability to respond, while imposing a tight naval blockade to cut off reinforcements and supplies. This blockade would choke Japan's vital sea lanes, threatening the flow of energy, food, and raw materials that Japan depends on for its survival. Such a move could trigger Japan's collective self-defense doctrine, compelling it to act alongside its allies to restore stability and protect its interests. China's strategy would likely include preemptive strikes on U.S. bases in Japan, especially Okinawa, aiming to neutralize American air power and delay reinforcements. This would drag both Japan and the U.S. into the war from the outset, transforming a local crisis into a major international conflict. The PLA might also target Japan's southwestern islands, which are strategically located near Taiwan and critical for controlling regional sea lanes. By attempting to seize outposts like Yonaguni, China could disrupt Allied operations, threaten Japanese territory, and complicate any military response. Even a small island seizure would escalate the conflict dramatically, raising the stakes for all sides and risking a wider war. Suddenly, Japanese territory would become a battleground, with civilians and military personnel facing the immediate threat of attack. The war's opening moves would be fast, chaotic, and marked by confusion as both sides scrambled to gain the upper hand. The fighting would be brutal and region-wide, with devastating impacts on cities, infrastructure, and the lives of millions. Japan's response would be immediate, as its military mobilizes to defend its territory and support its allies. For Japan, its own territory and security would be at stake, forcing the nation into a fight for its very survival. The conflict would not be limited to Taiwan. Its shockwaves would ripple across the Asia-Pacific, drawing in neighboring countries. In the end, the entire region would be engulfed in a conflict with consequences that could reshape the balance of power in East Asia for generations. Japan's first priority in a crisis would be evacuating its citizens from the Ryukyu Islands, now potential war zones. If Chinese missiles strike U.S. bases in Japan, the self-defense forces would join the fight alongside American troops. Even if the attack is limited to Taiwan, Japan could invoke collective self-defense, supporting U.S. operations with logistics, minesweeping, and anti-submarine warfare. Japanese air and naval forces would defend their homeland and supply lines, while new counter-strike capabilities could target PLA fleets threatening Taiwan. The SDF would also defend the Ryukyu Islands, using pre-positioned missiles to repel any Chinese landings. For the first time since Wubutuin, Japan would be prepared for both defense and offensive action. The stakes: national survival and alliance credibility. The U.S.-Japan alliance has evolved into a seamless, highly coordinated fighting force, prepared to respond instantly to a Taiwan crisis or any threat in the region. Decades of partnership have built trust and interoperability, making their combined military power far greater than the sum of its parts. Japan now serves as the logistical hub and launchpad for U.S. air, naval, and marine operations across the Western Pacific. American forces rely on Japanese bases for rapid deployment, resupply, and maintenance, while Japanese personnel work side by side with their U.S. counterparts. Joint exercises like Keen Sword and Iron Fist have forged deep integration. U.S. and Japanese troops train to retake islands, deploy rocket systems, and coordinate real-time operations. These drills simulate real combat, ensuring both militaries can operate as one in high-pressure scenarios. Japan's new counter-strike capabilities blur the old lines. Both nations can now strike and defend, projecting power far beyond their shores. This marks a historic shift in Japan's military posture, making the alliance more flexible and formidable. U.S. missile defenses protect Japanese cities and bases, while Japanese forces shield U.S. assets and supply lines. This mutual protection ensures that both nations' forces can operate securely, even under sustained attack. A new joint command in Tokyo ensures rapid, unified decision-making. American and Japanese officers share intelligence, coordinate strategy, and direct operations together in real time. The PLA would face not two separate militaries, but a single integrated defense network. This network links sensors, radars, and missile systems, creating a powerful shield over the region. This synergy is the alliance's greatest strength and China's greatest challenge. The ability to act as one multiplies their deterrence and warfighting power. Any attack would trigger a coordinated, overwhelming Allied response, combining advanced technology, joint planning, and the will to defend the region together. Japan's southwestern islands have become a fortified front line, bristling with sensors, missiles, and rapid response units. Once considered remote outposts, these islands are now at the heart of a rapidly shifting security landscape, transformed by rising tensions and the specter of conflict in the region. Bases on Yonaguni, Ishigaki, and Miyako now host surveillance, electronic warfare, and anti-ship missile batteries, creating a dense defensive web. These installations are designed to detect threats early, disrupt enemy communications, and deliver rapid, coordinated responses to any incursion. The U.S. Marine Littoral Regiment in Okinawa adds mobile, lethal firepower, able to strike ships and secure choke points. Their presence ensures that Allied forces can quickly adapt to changing threats, reinforcing Japan's defenses with advanced technology and flexible tactics. Joint drills, like Keen Sword, place precision strike assets within range of Taiwan and China, sending a clear deterrent signal. These exercises not only sharpen combat readiness, but also demonstrate the seamless cooperation between Japanese and American forces. The Porcupine strategy aims to make any Chinese attack costly and complex. By layering defenses and dispersing forces, Japan and its allies hope to frustrate and delay any potential adversary, buying precious time for reinforcements. Allied forces are ready, interoperable, and on constant alert. Through shared intelligence, joint command structures, and regular training, they maintain a high level of preparedness for any scenario. The message to Beijing is unmistakable. These islands are defended, and any move on Taiwan will meet fierce resistance. Every deployment, every drill, is a signal of resolve and unity. The region is no longer a backwater. It's the front line of Asia's security, where the balance of power is being tested every day. Diplomacy is now a battlefield, with sharp rhetoric and high-stakes signaling. Prime Minister Takaichi's public red lines on Taiwan drew fierce protests from Beijing, escalating the war of words. Japan's strategy, clear deterrence to prevent Chinese miscalculation, backed by U.S. support. Yet, economic ties with China forced Tokyo to balance deterrence with dialogue. Total rupture would be disastrous for both. Even amid heated exchanges, leaders meet at summits, pledging to manage tensions and keep communication open. Every statement or exercise risks escalation, but silence could invite aggression. The hope that words and diplomacy can keep the peace, even as militaries prepare for the worst. A Japan-China war over Taiwan would be a global disaster, not a regional skirmish. The human toll would be immense, but the economic shock, cutting off global trade routes and semiconductor supplies, would plunge the world into crisis. Allies would be forced to choose sides, risking a new Cold War with even deeper economic stakes. The specter of nuclear escalation, however remote, would haunt every decision. The world's prosperity and stability hinge on avoiding this conflict. Deterrence and diplomacy are now the last fragile barriers to catastrophe. The world holds its breath, hoping leaders can steer away from the abyss.